Welcome back to YellowCard Vanguard. I'm your host, Toku, from It's Toku TV on Twitch. It has been a long while, and Clan Collection 5 and 6 have already been out for quite some time, but I figured this is going to be a mainstay of the channel, so I've taken some time out of my failing job search to give you, the viewers, what you want. My based, red-pilled, and Replica takes on the new cards and supports for Clan Collections 5 and 6. Once again, we need to preface the video as well as the rest of the series by letting you know that these lists are made at face value using my skills of card evaluation. They will need playtesting to fine-tune, but I hope they will serve as a good reference point for filthy net deckers to piggyback off of. Welcome back to Clan Collection Cores. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, guys, so strap yourselves in. Last time we did cores, I would give a separate video for each different boss unit, but there's so much overlap in good stuff cards now that I'm just going to shove them all in one video if I can. This time, we're going to feature the Grade 3 clan, Kagero. I thought the Grade 3 clan was DP. Either way, we got 3 more new boss units for Kagero, because we needed more, right? I hope you guys like Dauntless, Break Breath, Lava Flow, and Heat Shot because you're going to be seeing them a lot today. Introducing 2 pack fillers and Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth. The first of the pack filler, Embodiment of Victory, Aleph. Has a hand effect that if your Vanguard is either Aleph or Ram, you can soul in Bar and Tar from your rear to soul and superior ride this from hand. And continuously while on the Vanguard circle, all of your embodiment rear guards match his power when they attack. And finally, an act skill once per turn, Counterblast 3, gain 15k, a crit, and a drive. Then, you can also Soul Blast Bar and Tar to countercharge 3. Honestly speaking, I don't hate Aleph. I think he's a bit flawed, but I like the design space with him. I respect that if you save the Counterblast 3 skill for after you break ride DDD, you can get a really scary center column. Next up the pack filler, the newest Fortnite character, Dragon Monk Goku. Another strictly Vanguard card, once per turn you can counterblast 1 and discard a grade 3 to gain a drive. And at the end of the battle that it attacked, you can counterblast 1 again, and for each of the grades of the normal units revealed for the drive check of the battle, perform the following. Grade 3, retire 2 rearguards. Grade 2, standard rearguard, and Grade 1, give a rearguard 10. The worst of the new Grade 3s if you ask me, and just another DDD abuser. It would be better if it didn't ask for normal units, so heal guardians don't make you feel like shit. I think ideally you get to attack with the rear, attack with Goku, restand the rear, restand Goku, and attack with the rear, and then Goku again with 2 triple drives. It's okay, but it's not imaginative and not inspiring at all. And finally, the cards that people bought boxes for, Dragonic Overlord, the Rebirth. Very selfish, very Vanguard centric. On the Vanguard circle, at the beginning of your battle phase, you can pay the cost, which is to lock all of your rear guards at least 1, and until the end of the turn, at the end of the next battle this unit attacks, counterblast 1, discard 1, and restand. You don't lose a drive. Also, on the Vanguard circle, when this attacks the Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, and for every 2 of your locked cards, retire an opponent's rear guard. Finally, also on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, if you have 5 or more locked cards and your damage zone has 4 or more cards, discard 2, stand this unit, and get a force marker. I've talked about some decks being horizontal, some decks being vertical, but Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth is just one point on the graph called the Vanguard Circle. The moment we ride into the Rebirth, we don't care about anything else that's not the Vanguard Circle, and that's how a selfish card should be. I like it. Now, let's go into the list. As a preface, all of these lists will run very similar cards and I'll go over them and talk about. All of these lists will run full playsets of Dauntless Drive Dragon, Break Breath Dragon, Dragonite Heat Shot, as well as Airmo, as these are the generic good cards that kind of defines Kagero at the moment. Break riding your choice of grade 3 boss unit over Dauntless lets you make your own new boss unit and makes mediocre bosses just a little bit better. The majority of these lists will also be running a similar trigger lineup as well, with one exception which I'm sure you guys can guess. But let's get into the more unique parts of each deck. Starting with Fortnite Default Dance Goku. Obviously our boss unit Goku will be played at 4, but what is our winning line? I imagine it to be something very simple. After break riding over DDD into Goku, you find a big idiot to swing with. You swing with Goku, rip a grade 2 to restand it, and then do it again since Goku's drive check ability isn't once per turn. The big idiot I've chosen is Bellicosity Dragon. Now for Bellicosity to get noticeably large, we want a good amount of retires. Luckily, He Shot is a source of retire, but not enough. So I've decided to run a pair of Blazing Flare Dragon, not only as a source of mass retire, but also another big idiot to swing multiple times with. And then finally, a big shout out to Burning Horn Dragon, who plays double duty in this deck because it's treated as a grade 3 for discard, it synergizes with Gojo's discard cost to gain the drive, but also can retire a unit when you discard 2. As for ratios, I think I would have liked to cut on our grade 1 to include more grade 2s, so we would have a higher chance of finding them on the drive checks. But in a naturally weaker deck like this, having the extra 10k shields is probably more important. Goku gets a 3 out of 10 from me, and a 6 out of 10 after a DDD break ride for the amount of drive checks he would do for that turn. On to the next. Embodiment of Copium Aleph. We are obviously going to run our 4 Alephs, and for Aleph's effects, we're going to run 4 copies of Embodiment of the Shield Lam, as well as Embodiment of Armor Bar. What's important is to run specifically this crit, Embodiment of Spear Tar, and in our last slot, 1 single copy of Blazing Flare for mass retire if needed, but the best players will be able to use its on attack skill to soul charge our embodiments and needed for the soul blast and counter charge effect on Aleph. What I can say about this deck is that force placement is very easy. Just put it all on center since our embodiments will share it when they attack. I think this deck has the ability to cheat wins going first and getting the ride skip. Something like ride to grade 2, skip to Aleph, and on the turn after, ride onto DDD while your opponent is now on grade 2. Once your opponent hits grade 3ing and gives you 3 or more counterblasts to play with, break ride back into Aleph, and you will have 3 forces on the Vanguard circle, a 57k, 2 crit restanding triple drive Vanguard, and any other embodiments you attack with will also be 57k. I think of the 3, this is the most interesting, but I don't think it's the best. Aleph being a ride skip has obvious applications in Premium 2, letting us stride a turn early, at the opportunity cost of running penis cards like Bar and Tar. I like to see the real creative part of the Premium community find a way to break this. And finally, the list that you guys clicked on this video for, Dragonic, Overlord, the Rebirth. Now I will preface this by saying that the best way to include Rebirth in your deck is to probably just throw a pair of them into your cross-end list, as there is more Overlord specific support there. But this list and Clan Collection cores in general is tailored towards people looking to take the cards they got from Clan Cole and turn them into a deck. So in our version of the Rebirth, we're running our 16 core cards between He Shot, Lava Flow, Airmo, and DDD. But we have some options that aren't present in the other decks. First off is 4 copies of Torrid Cannon and 4 copies of Heat Shot Dragon. You may also notice that I've gone for the full ham trigger lineup in 12 crits, 4 heals. My reasoning is that getting the Rebirth break ride over DDD with LB4 should get you 4 twin drives, 8 cards deep into converting your low guard into effective guards through triggers. Torrid Cannon is here because of our rear guard and hand requirement to get the full break ride limit break 4 effect of LB4 effect of DDDDOTR. Because we don't really need too many in the topic of big attackers, I opted to go for the 8 grade 2 lineup only and flesh out grade 1s to have more 10. I think if there's one thing that I wish that Kagero had, it would be more act skills on the rearguard circle so that we could get max value out of our rearguards in the main phase or locking them for the Rebirth. As for other options to run, going on the topic and idea that our rearguards are mainly going to be used for shield and lock fodder, I have honestly considered Demonic Dragon Mage K10 as a grade 2 to slam in the front row to lock and then to have to intercept for 15k win. Obviously, we can once again consider the trigger lineup. If 12 crit is too risky with the lack of draw PGs, obviously throw those back in. But I think with 4 twin drive attacks and good resource denial, the threat of multiple crits can be enough to choke your opponent out of the game until they break. In conclusion, what do I think of Kagero after Clan Call 5 and 6? We've joked that Kagero is the sub-clan and Overlord is the main clan, but with each other random bullshit grade 3 we keep getting, it might end up being this is the Dauntless Drive clan. Regardless, I think the one card to look out for from Clan Collection is the Rebirth, obviously, an all-in-one card to twin drive 3 times and set your opponent's field ablaze while gaining force markers. The only question is whether its early game is fast enough to deal with the meta, and I think the unfortunate answer is no. I think the main thing to note is that .X and .E are still probably the best way to take Overlord, since it has the most accidental kill potential with Decat's guard restrict. But I appreciate the set designers for putting .R and DDD in the same set to give people a taste of what it means like to play the Kagero. In any case, that's it from me for this episode of Clan Collection Cores. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this and leave a comment down below because every little bit helps. This has been Token from YellowCard Vanguard. Goku out.